There used to be a time where a lot of Jamaicans overseas, once they migrate overseas, they've never seen Jamaica again. I guess you could say they've never seen the light of day again, right? A lot of Jamaicans have opted to retire overseas than to retire back home in Jamaica. But that is not the case anymore. I'm a Jamaican living abroad, and I love to speak about my beautiful gold spoon, Jamaica. And you're probably wondering why I call Jamaica a gold spoon. Well, of course, Jamaica is a gold spoon. Eh? Jamaica gold, But listen, the reason why is because they have this saying that gold spoon is, you can have gold spoon in your mouth, but you don't realize it until you lose it. Well, that's kind of how Jamaica is to me, because I've been living away from Jamaica for such a long time that the last time I went back to Jamaica in 2023, I really truly began to appreciate Jamaica, or see it from a completely different perspective. I am like fascinated with my beautiful island of Jamaica. I am beginning to see what I was born in, what I was blessed in, the last time when I went to Jamaica. So that is why I refer to Jamaica as my gold spoon. And if it is mine, it is also yours. These days, we have a lot of Jamaicans returning home. And we're not talking about returning home due to deportation. We're talking about returning home because Jamaicans are missing home and they want to return back home to Jamaica to connect with home once again. Because east or west, home is best. And I don't yard me come from. So that's what a lot of us Jamaicans say. I don't yard me come from, I desa me come from. So they are returning back home to Jamaica. So the thing is that living overseas they may not be as glorified as it appears to be. So after a while, a lot of Jamaicans would prefer to move back home. Not only are retirees moving back to Jamaica, but we have young people as well migrating back to Jamaica. Because why wait until we're old and we don't have much life left in us? Why not just move while we are young and enjoy the richness and the beautiful slice of pie that Jamaica has to offer? Why move back home when you are old and you don't have much life left in your bones, right? And people have to take care of you, and you have to get to know people all over again. Your neighborhood that you once left behind is no longer the same neighborhood because we have new people moving in and they don't even know who you are, So why not move back to Jamaica when you are young rather than when you are old? So yes, a lot of Jamaicans, they're returning back home, and because sometimes you just need a break from the West as well. So bam, why not go to Jamaica? As I said, Jamaica offers a more relaxed lifestyle than they do here. And somebody said to me, who, by the way, is in the process of relocating back to Jamaica with his family, said that, that the West is extremely stressful. And, while stress is everywhere in Jamaica, you don't feel the pressure as much as you do here, because here can become a little bit toxic after a while if you don't know how to balance things out. You have people, when they leave Jamaica and they come here, and once they become acclimated into the Western system, their body starts to break down because just having to keep up with the demands of the West can become very, very stressful. I'm talking about people losing their hair, people losing their sanity. As a matter of fact, there is this young lady who came here as a teacher recently, and she had to be sent back home to Jamaica. I don't know what happened to her mind. She just went completely insane. And we do know that she was really going through a lot of stress and a lot of struggles, and you know, they had to just send her back home to Jamaica to heal. So as much as the West is looks beautiful from the outside and it is glorified, it is really not what it appears to be. So a lot of Jamaicans are moving back home for various reasons. And some Jamaicans would prefer not to. They would prefer to stay here and tough things out here, and just rather stay here, because there are three concerns that a lot of returning residents or a lot of Jamaicans overseas have, and that is one, the safety in Jamaica. We've heard a lot of things, a lot of brutal and things about crimes, when it comes towards returning residents. Another concern is medical care. We've always heard that when the professionalism or the level of medical care that is needed is not entirely in Jamaica. So a lot of people, when they need, like, for example, surgery, they would rather fly overseas to get that type of medical care than they would in Jamaica. And another concern is the cost of living as well. So safety, medical care, and the cost of living is one of those, I want to say, are three major concerns that returning residents have. The question is, has Jamaica improved in a way for, returning residents to feel safe, for returning residents to have the proper medical care, and the cost of living is, attainable. So these are, the concerns or questions that are popping up in my mind when it comes to returning home in Jamaica, because I have also entertained the idea of maybe moving back home, but I would at least like to know what is safety like. You worry about safety, especially when you have been away for a very, very long time. I spoke to my friend who is recently planning, or actually who is gathering himself together right now to relocate back to Jamaica. And he has mentioned to me that Jamaica has improved significantly over the last 10 years. Jamaica, of course, still has some ways to go, but when it comes to safety, when it comes to medical care, when it comes to living expenses, Jamaica has improved a lot. And he's looking forward to going back home. And when I say living expenses, I think I would rather say, when I say cost of living, I'm mostly talking about your residence, your place of residence. But anyhow, let's move forward. So I was told that Jamaica now, they are dispatching police pretty much across our beautiful island of Jamaica. You will see a lot of patrolling taking place on the street, to be able to better manage crime. And not only that, Jamaica is calling for returning residents to come back home. Come on, we welcome you home. Come on. And they have various programs out there to be able to assist us to be able to have a smooth transition back home to Jamaica. One of which I had mentioned in my previous video, which is they have this program where they will help you to not having to pay any tax or any duties on anything that you ship to Jamaica. They have that one-time courtesy where you can ship as much as you want and you do not have to pay taxes on your items. Of course, you still need to pay to clear your items, but as far as being taxed on them, that has been eliminated one time only. So things like that. And then there is also a handbook that is given out to returning residents when they come. It is the country's way of saying this is how we have enhanced in our country. This is our promise to you to keep you safe and so forth. Because we have really heard some really ridiculous and really bad stories about, returning residents being targeted because for some reason those who have probably never left Jamaica probably felt that returning residents are loaded, and we are not loaded, believe you me. So the thing about that is we've heard so many horrific stories. So Jamaica is I could tell that the leadership of Jamaica is really working hard to improve in these areas. But of course, change doesn't take place overnight. No, it doesn't. It takes time. And we can clearly see that there has been a gradual change. There is growth, that is happening in Jamaica when it comes towards safety. Um, Between 2024 and 2025, the crime rate in Jamaica has dropped significantly. And that tells you that, the leadership of Jamaica is really working hard to improve the quality of Jamaica, especially when it comes to not only the residents of Jamaica, but also returning residents as well. And maybe that is also one of the reasons why Jamaicans overseas are now being attracted to Jamaica, and they are opting to relocate back home. Another concern for returning residents are medical care. Will they, because first of all, you have to think about it. You have lived overseas for many years, you have established yourself overseas for many years, you have pretty much invested in the system here when it comes to medical care and so forth. Are you willing to walk away from that to establish a new life in Jamaica? It's not, I don't know if this is possible. And if you do know the answer for this, please let me know in the comment section. But can you use your insurance here in the United States? For example, this is where I am living. I don't know what it would be for Canada or for England, but can you use that insurance overseas, So those are things that you have to think about. And I do know that there are insurance in Jamaica, but it's like starting over all over again. So, but anyhow, when it comes to medical care, another significant issue at play here is the quality of service when it comes to medical services. Because everything in Jamaica is really out of pocket. If you don't have the money to pay for the type of medical care that is needed, depending on whatever your situation is, for example, if you need surgery, what does that mean for you? When overseas, it doesn't work that way. If you are in need of surgery, they will operate on you, and then you can pay that cost later. And of course, you have insurance coverage and so forth. So they will obviously cut down on the cost of that, which will help to cut down on your medical cost. And then the rest will be out of pocket. And sometimes it is a lot, but at least they're not going to refuse you because you do not have money up front to pay for the type of medical care that is needed. And I don't know if Jamaica has that type of service. Will they refuse you if you do not have all the money for the type of medical care that is needed. And that is why I would hear things like people, they are in need of eye surgery or whatever type of surgery, whatever the condition is, they would rather fly back overseas to get that medical attention that is needed. So when it comes to medical care in Jamaica, I believe that is one of the primary concerns for returning residents. But on a positive note, I was told that Jamaica has improved a great deal when it comes to the quality of medical care in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, at one point options used to be few, but now the options have improved where you have so many private facilities that are going up in construction in Jamaica. So, and I was told that now, you will have so many different options to choose from. I mean, it all depends whatever type of doctor or whatever background you're looking for, it is all there in Jamaica now. You have the Cubans, you have Jamaicans, you have doctors, Indians, you have doctors from so many different backgrounds now to choose from, if you are returning back home to Jamaica. But is it at the level where, and by the way, it's private, and I was told that it is affordable. I don't know how true that is because I live here in the United States. So anyhow, if you're residing in Jamaica, what is your experience like, when it comes to medical care in Jamaica? Is it burning your pocket to get the quality medical care that you need? So these are things to really think about. But as I said, a lot of Jamaicans are moving back home to Jamaica, and they're like, we'll take life one day at a time, but for me, these would be my concerns before maybe packing up and moving back home to Jamaica. Well, okay, I have cost of living, but before I talk about cost of living, well, yeah, let's get cost of living out of the way first. Cost of living for returning residents is attainable, is manageable probably, because they say that you cannot look at the money as one for one, so you can always do your shopping in the markets if you feel like the grocery stores are a little bit too expensive when it comes to buying your foods and so forth. You can always grow something in your backyard. Your vegetables, you can always grow them in your backyard, because Jamaica, that's the one thing I love about Jamaica, is how prosperous and fruitful the country is. You can literally put anything into the soil and that it will grow and it will produce. So when it comes to food, I don't even think that we should even have to cry and complain too much about not being able to cover your needs when it comes to a meal for the day. I mean, come on, God bless us with this amazing lush land, very fertile land. All you have to do is put a few seeds of corn, plant some yam here, put a banana tree there, plant your tomato over there, and that it will be fruitful, so you can raise your chicken, you can raise your goat, you can raise all your poultries, you can go swimming and catch your fish. So when it comes to food, or I wouldn't even worry about the cost of those things, but living, your residence now. So it is beautiful that Jamaica is developing and we have a lot of beautiful homes, but most of these beautiful homes, they are communal living. It's all community living. They're in subdivisions, and not all Jamaican returning residents want to move back home to a subdivision, because it feels like you're cut off from the rest of Jamaica. So If that's where safety comes into play, then that tells me that Jamaica has a lot of work to do. You shouldn't have to feel safe by living in a subdivision. You want to feel safe when you come out and you walk about in your beautiful island, your home. This is home, this is a yard, but as I said before, that safety is the efforts being put out there to improve safety in Jamaica, not only for residents only, but also for returning residents, it is happening. And but none of these things happen overnight. It takes time. So Jamaica, yes, definitely is improving, and I am proud of the direction that Jamaica is heading. But the community living now, yes, I cannot see myself living in a subdivision if I should choose to return back home to Jamaica. I'm pretty sure there are other places where, one can reside, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there are other places where one can reside. Yeah. So not to be narrow-minded, but I almost feel as if the narrative that is thrown out there is you need to live within a subdivision in order to be safe, and I don't believe that is the case. As a matter of fact, I want safety in Jamaica to be to the point where you can move back home to the same community where you grew up. This is a familiar place for us returning residents, the community of the past, the neighborhood, the districts where we grew up, the people that we grew up around, even though the face of it has changed because a lot of people have moved on or has transitioned into the other life, it is still a familiar place. And when you're returning home, you want to go back to what is familiar. So, but anyhow, I love my beautiful island of Jamaica. I love how Jamaica is developing when it comes to the infrastructure. I love how Jamaica is improving when it comes to safety. Yes, we do hear a lot of negative stories out there. We do. Yes, I've heard them, trust me. But I want to look on the positive side and said, yes, Jamaica is stepping forward. Jamaica is moving forward. Yeah, Jamaica is moving forward. And a lot of us, yes, we are returning home to Jamaica for various reasons. We want to come home and we want to enjoy the peace that Jamaica gives. And we want to, as I said, Jamaica carries such a beautiful energy that that vibes, man, belongs only in Jamaica. Jamaica has a signature, okay? That's Jamaican signature. Okay, Irie, that Irie feeling, that chill feeling. So that's Jamaican signature, man. And a lot of people fall in love with it when they come to Jamaica. A lot of returning residents fall in it when they go to Jamaica. Me? Yes, me fall in love with it every time I go back home. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. These are just a few things that I have to speak about today. Please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for all my subscribers. Kudos to you. My channel is growing because of you. Thank you so much. And anyhow, I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.